The guys I respect one of the most as far as guys who played the game at a high level, also a guy who stayed connected enough with the business. He still is evaluating high school quarterbacks. He's still evaluating college quarterbacks. I know that people before the draft, they asked Warren about him. He breaks down the guys coming into the draft as far as their potential. He does games for Seattle on their radio. So he has stayed connected to the league for the last 40 years. He's had one of the most remarkable careers. You mentioned as a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he also played 6 years in Canadian football. He started 95 games north of the border, even before he had a 17-year NFL career. He's the best athlete. I'm talking about head, shoulders, legs, as far as durable athlete and best athlete that I have seen play the game. Now, there's guys that can run faster. There's guys taller. There's guys stronger. But his ability to have an unbelievable brain for the game, an unbelievable arm, and a set of shoulders and a trunk and torso, very, very strong. And you can't play that long and be as athletic as he is unless you have a great set of legs. So he is right. Some of the greatest quarterbacks that we saw when they started to deteriorate, it wasn't their throwing motion, it wasn't their throwing, it was their legs and their inability to be able to transfer weight and or that 3x3 box that you have to shuffle in the pocket and not be able to get around that and people can get closer to you. We've seen it affect their play. That is what ends their career more so than their inability. I can't play the game.
And the other reason you gave Warren's full history there, the other reason that he is not just a quarterback expert, but an expert on Brady in particular is he's one of only 2 people alive that knows what it's like to be a starting quarterback in the NFL at Brady's age.
Yeah.
Brett Favre knows what it's like. Warren Moon knows what it's like. I guess Vinny Testaverde, so he's the other one. Testaverde wasn't at a high level. Like, if Favre did it at a high level at age 40, Warren started 10 games at age 42 and was in the league until he was 44. So he has an extra level of expertise on this. And what we're seeing with Brady, which is the concern point, is it's something you saw with Peyton near the end. It's something you've seen with Eli the last few years, which is they see the sack. They see it. It's not they don't see the blitz coming. They see it coming, know they can't get out of the way, and drop.
And they give up the fight.
Brady was, as opposed to seeing it coming, knowing I can step out of it. Like, it's not that Brady's never been Big Ben where I'm just going to shake you off. You like that little shake you off, see? But he would step away.
Good job using your legs.
No problem. He would step away from. He would know how to step away from it. Brady is one of the most mobile quarterbacks ever in the pocket.
Yes.
His ability to avoid the rush. And so that sack at the end of the first half, a guy he thought was going to be open was double covered.
Yep.
He wasn't really pressured yet, but he knew
he couldn't get away.
I'm not going to be able to go anywhere, and he kind of had a mental lapse because they didn't have a timeout there. Because you are seeing the numbers. Like, he's been average this year. Not Brady average, league at 14th in rating, 11th in touchdowns, 18th in percentage, 12th in yards per attempt. He's been good but not great. I think that's a lot to do with it.
One thing that Warren mentioned that you echoed is the sequence. I went back and watched it a couple times in real time, watching when they were driving before halftime, watching the sequence. Miami was in a bad defense to play before that. They called a timeout. Brady walked slowly off to the side. He had to be reminded and know at that point we didn't have any timeout. So it wasn't as they were rushing down the field a 2-minute. No, it was in a short period of time.
It was right after a block punt.
I mean, it was right after that, but it was also, as Warren said, as you get older, like your brain just slips just a little bit, and right there,
and that's all it takes too.
And that's right there is what we saw where he took that sack and they didn't have a timeout and weren't able to get any points before halftime.
All right. Let's focus on the team. The Patriots will be playing this weekend. The Steelers, they've lost 3 in a row and lead the Ravens by just a half game in the AFC North. They are without James Conner. They were without James Conner last week. He is questionable this week. Bill Belichick was asked if there is any advantage facing the Steelers in their current state.
I think you guys are around competitive guys. You wouldn't see that, so I don't really see that. I don't give that any credibility at all. Competitive people compete. That's what they do. And certainly that's what the Steelers are. So I'm sure we'll get their best. I think they'll get our best. We'll see what happens.
All right, see, what's it going to take for the Steelers to beat this Patriots team?
They have to be able to change some things up. And people always talk about, oh, you can't give New England the same look. You have to come up with a couple different game plans. Got to be willing to do something the first half and be willing to change it for the second half. Yeah, you know what you got to be willing to do? You got to take some chances. And for me, if I'm Mike Tomlin, that press conference he had on Tuesday, I just beg that the players can match that type of intensity. I'm going after Tom Brady. I'm getting ready to blitz Tom Brady because that's the way the Dolphins ended the game. They started off very vanilla. We're going to rush 4, maybe a little 5. But when they start having success, they started sending some people. They sent the nickelback. They sent the safety. And they caught Tom Brady off guard one time where you would have think that he would have seen it coming from his front side, was able to sack them to be able to end the drive. So if I'm Pittsburgh, I'm going to put a lot of pressure on Tom Brady. And when they think that I'm going to change at halftime, you know what? I'm coming back out. Because the Steelers' season is on the line. I'm getting ready to blitz Tom Brady more. Now, I'm taking the Warren Moon. All right, can he move? Does he want the pressure? Is he willing to give up the fight sooner? All right, that's what I'm getting ready to do for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I got one game plan, and I'm getting ready to blitz him the whole game. And when they think I'm getting ready to change, Nick, I'm getting ready to throw some more at him and blitz him in the second half.
And one other thing that Miami did that I think's been underrated, and I wonder if the Steelers have the temerity to do it, which is they didn't. There's the only other the courage.
You almost made me cuss.
No,
there.
I apologize. I'll say the courage.
Okay.
There's a crasser way to say it, but I was trying to not use that terminology. Which is single cover Gronk, which is treat Gronk like he's just a guy, and to not dedicate 2 guys to Rob Gronkowski. Because one of the reasons it seems like Chris Hogan, whenever he gets the ball, is wide open over in the middle of the field. One of the reasons it seems like Brady very often is having guys run open is because for so long, the team's #1 receiver they've had to stop has been Rob Gronkowski. The Dolphins didn't treat him that way. I think they saw what the Jets did with Jamal Adams really giving him trouble in the red zone. And then the Dolphins in that football game said, we'll pay attention to Gronk, but we're not going to build our game plan around stopping Gronk. And Gronk does seem to be in a different part of his career. Now, maybe he's just trying to save it all up for a playoff push.
I don't know if he's smart enough. To know how to do that, but go ahead.
And I know we laughed, at him being on the Gronk has demanded a double team. I don't know if he does anymore. I do think the Steelers will be able to score on the Pats, even without James Conner. I'm not impressed by the Pats linebackers. I'm not impressed by their pass rush. I'm not impressed by their speed. So I do think you can. Dolphins scored on them. I think you can score on New England, particularly New England when they're on the road where the defense has been bad all year. I'm curious if the Steelers can slow down the Patriots offense at all, something they haven't been able to do in the last 5 years.
One Patriot I am worried about in this game, Josh Gordon coming back playing Pittsburgh. He's missed a lot of games. He was supposed to be playing that rivalry. Cleveland, Pittsburgh. I'm sure the Pittsburgh fans are going to remind Josh of his past. And I just believe the way he's been trending, playing more significant role. And when they needed it in the Miami game, that's where Brady went deep down the field. Josh Gordon tries to have a big breakout game against that Steelers secondary.
All right, look forward to that. Coming up is tonight Patrick Mahomes' MVP moment. We'll explain. That's next. This is First Things First.
It might be like his 4th or 5th MVP moment. He had the one against the left-handed pass against Denver.
Yeah, that one.
The 4th and 9 against Baltimore.
You got to bring out your Kansas City pom-pom.
Oh, wow.